These three drills done by the most dominant player in world golf right now, Nelly Korda, will absolutely make you an unbeatable iron player because her stat leading greens in regulation of 74.8%, absolutely unbelievable, is because of these three drills. So I highly encourage you all to practice these three but very simple drills to make iron play your absolute strength. And these all can be applied to driver just the same too. So let's get to the first drill that we're seeing her do here. Classic drill. We also see the likes of Rory McIlroy do this drill a ton, and that is keeping your tilt. So this is where we want, as we swing a golf club, to keep our left side for a right-handed golfer lower than the right. Because the golf ball's on the ground, we need to stay tilted. Helps tremendously to keep the club on path and to keep the body turning through the golf ball, keeping that left side lower. Now, what we see players do before we dive into the drill, we will see players lift up their left shoulder, lose their tilt. Essentially, when they lift up that left shoulder, they are now moving their swing more up into the air. So let's say, for example, if a player lifts up that left shoulder and then swings down without doing anything to get the club back down again, they can easily top the golf ball. They can even miss it, just whiff it completely. That's where we would normally see players lift up that left shoulder, flatten out that tilt, and then they have to get that left shoulder going back down again. That steepens the club. Absolutely not good if you want to be a really good iron player or driver of the golf ball. So the simple drill that Nelly does here, just a club across the shoulders. And all you want to do is turn to where that butt end of the club, end of the grip here, is pointing just after the golf ball. I always like to do this with two balls. We've got one that we're setting up to and one, let's say a club head distance just in front there. And we want that butt end of the club to point at that ball just in front. This is so incredibly important. There is no good player on the planet who does not keep their tilt. You have to keep your tilt. So doing a ton of these just like Nelly or Rory, and then going into your shot just like she does, just to keep that tilt, keep that left side down, and you'll be amazed at how much easier it is to hit good golf shots. Now, the second drill here that we're seeing her do is with her caddy. And we can see, what is the caddy doing? The caddy is holding a club just behind her trail elbow. So for the right-handed golfer, right elbow. Now, this is keeping that right arm in front of the seam line. So important in the golf swing. Having that right arm staying in front of that seam line is going to, again, ensure as you're moving down, that right arm drives in. That's going to help with shallowing the golf club. That's going to help with keeping the club on path, which is going to help with continuing that turn for really good striking. You see so many top players in the world working on keeping their arms a little bit more in front of the body. Really helps with good ball striking and more consistent ball striking. It's the holy grail, really, of good strikes. See so many people doing it. So that's where when golfers, before we get into the drill, what we'll see a lot of them do is pull that right arm back and in. So again, if there was someone standing there with a club right behind our right arm, trail elbow there, it's going to crash into it. When that right arm gets and pulls back like starting a lawnmower, you're going to see how that's going to get the right arm trapped behind the body. It's going to go behind the seam line of the shirt. So then a couple of things could happen. You could turn down the downswing, right arm is now trapped behind you, and again, now you've just got to save it flipping out there. That's one of the big reasons why tour players try to prevent this, because they don't want to get stuck in a downswing. They're going to hit big blocks or big snap hooks. But we can also get a player, when they're pulling back with that right arm, into what we call internal shoulder rotation, like you're winning an arm wrestling match. Why that can be so damaging is because that is a big steepener of the club shaft. Whenever we're going more into internal rotation, look at the club shaft. See how it stands up, it steepens. When that club shaft tips and steepens out, make a player swing over the top, it can make a player dig down to the core of the earth, and it can make a player really stall out their rotation and early extend. Not good at all. So this drill, absolutely, we can't do without two people. So how we're going to go about doing this drill to make sure that right arm is staying nice and in front is we're going to do it with one arm. This is going to help us a ton. So if we just grip the club with the right hand, my trail hand, right-handed golfer, get our lead hand, my left hand, put it just behind our elbow. Now, if we're doing, let's say, practice swings here, we want to keep that right arm in front there as I'm swinging through. Gives me that sensation of loading up that right arm, having it fold, having it staying in more external rotation, losing an arm wrestling match, what does that help with? Shallowing. That help with keeping the club in front of you, keep you with turning. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's the best way to do it with, let's say, having limited supplies at your disposal. So it's going to really help you, of course, if we're pushing, pulling back, starting that lawnmower. Again, not what Nelly's doing. You're going to push into your arm. You're going to feel it straight away. So you could just do practice swings or clip a ball or two. There we go. That will be absolutely brilliant. That'll give you the feel. There is another way of doing it, and that is with a ball training aid. You may have seen stuff like this around, absolutely. Tour Striker Smart Ball in this case, could even be another ball type of training aid. You see loads of tour players working with this. So my one's a little bit deflated. I should absolutely get a new one of these. So a little bit of a puncture in it. Absolutely, should have got a new one. But absolutely, if you just put a ball training aid in between your arms, what's our goal here? Keep it in between the arms. Because my right arm goes back, the ball drops. So if we can keep this in between our arms the entire time, that means that right arm is staying nice and in front, just like what Nelly Korda is practicing there. Helps with club shaft movement, helps with good rotation again. Really important stuff to help you play more consistent golf and be an unbeatable iron player. So the third drill that we're seeing her do there is by far her most famous one. It's going to help so many of you. So for those of you who are stuck around to here, you can get the best drill. So, okay, ball roll drill. This is brilliant for the takeaway and setting up the whole structure of the swing for the club to move properly. So what we're seeing her do, roll the ball backwards. So dead straight back. Now, where that ball rolls is going to tell us how good we're going to swing that golf club. So with that ball rolling dead straight back here, what's that doing? That's giving me a perfect takeaway. Hands have gone in, club has gone slightly outside of the hands in order to roll that ball back, and now that's setting me up for good club movement in my swing. So then as I move up to the top of my backswing from there, the club shaft is going to be moving a little bit more vertical while still going around me. And that's going to give me a good top of the backswing position, good nice square club face. As we know, it gets us in a good square face at that takeaway as well. So then, of course, square face, what's that going to do? That's going to help me hit my target more often. It's going to help me turn more. And when I get that good backswing structure from that takeaway, it's going to help me then have a good reaction of the shaft and the downswing, naturally shallow, which is going to help me rotate. It's going to help me for accuracy and distance also. Be a really good iron player. But again, if we do it wrong, let's say, for example, I roll this to the inside. Let's roll this to the inside. Let's stop there. Let's have a look. What's happened? Club head has gone on the inside of the hands, absolutely. Club face has opened up, not in a good spot, so we know I'm going to have to then time it later in the swing to square that face up to hit the ball to target. But now, look what's going to happen as I start to move back when I roll that ball in. See how that club starts to move quite horizontal, quite laid off. So then I have to do something to pick the club up. I go into that, what we talked about before, that internal shoulder rotation to do it, which we know what's that going to do? Steepen the shaft. A whole manner of things are going to happen, even in just simple terms. We see quite often when a player gets here, really on the inside, they start to swing over the top in the downswing in a simple sense. So that's where absolutely brilliant one for you to do to get yourself into a good, nice takeaway to set you off for a good rest of the swing. Just put that ball just behind your club head, just roll it dead straight back, and then hit the ball. So here we go, just like Nelly does. Awesome. Also helps you with rhythm. It's really hard to snatch that club away in the takeaway also. So absolutely brilliant one. So those are three really good drills. Three, in my opinion, quite basic drills, but we see the best players in the world do those basic drills and succeed really nicely for you. Golf is as easy or as hard as you want to make it. So get going at those drills, and those are going to really help you. But if you want more work in your golf swing, maybe you don't quite know what you're doing in your swing, you don't know what video applies to you and what one doesn't, there's a link in the description for online lessons with myself. Let's get to the bottom of your swing and let's fix your swing with some online lessons on Skillist. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction, just like this. Hit a subscribe button, hit that bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video.